Welcome to Sarah Yoga. I am Sarah, and today we have a special practice for those of you that might be in a current natural disaster. I am here in Los Angeles, California, where there are currently 4 massive wildfires burning. So the energy is that of fear and devastation from all of the property and livelihood and animals that have been lost and are being lost currently. So in order to combat that and take ourselves out of that zone of fear, whether or not you're here in SoCal with me, or you're somewhere else in a natural disaster, or in some environment even within that's creating this disastrous, fearful energy, today we'll cultivate something that will counter that, something that will open up the heart and the digestive system as well, which are the 2 areas of the body that go into this fight or flight, protective survival mode. So take a breath with me for these few moments. You can grab a mat if you have one. If not, don't worry. Really just taking the time to send out some good energy to all of those who are affected. Let's get started. So we will begin here on our back. If you have some space to lay out a mat, you have a mat, do that. Start by coming into a comfortable position on your back. Let the heels come pretty wide. If you have a mat, let them come as wide as the mat. Bring one hand over the heart, one hand over the belly. Take a couple deep inhales into the palms with me. Clearing out the mind, clearing out the body, using the breath to rinse out the body. You can still hear the wind whipping up around outside. So even though there are sometimes these things that happen, right, finding your own breath can really help you center yourself, really help you act in the best way possible so you can be the most helpful during these crazy situations. And allows you just to find your ground, to find your logic again. It's very easy to get overwhelmed with, especially the news and the media. Learning to trust your instincts again, continuing to just take a couple more deep breaths here into the palms. Really expand the body, exaggerate these breaths. You can let them go out of the mouth if you want to release the jaw. Just trusting here that everything will be okay. Even though maybe it doesn't seem like it. Right, you're still here, you still have your breath. Nice, take one more breath in here. Exhale, release, let the hands drop down. Bring the knees up, give them a squeeze. Take a couple rocks from left to right to roll out the low back. See if you can still stay focused on your breath. I know there's probably a million other things to think about. And if you aren't in any kind of disaster and you're just here doing this practice with me, it's very easy to absorb the information and the energy that you feel from the other side of the country or the other side of the world. So just being conscious of if you are carrying some of that energy around that might not even be your energy. And use that breath to continue to flush in and out of the body, rinsing the body out, calming the nervous system. And we'll take ourselves over to either side and come right up into a seat. So when you come right up into a seat, find a comfy seat. If you have a wall nearby and it's not comfortable to find an easy cross-legged seat, you can use the wall to lean up against. Just a few breaths. Bring the palms face down, feeling that groundedness from the earth travel back up through the sits bones, back up into the body, lifting away from the ground, finding a lighter quality up into the chest, up into the head and the face. Taking a couple breaths with me. Knowing that other people will probably do this video, other people are probably experiencing the same thing you are. Knowing that the power of breath and yoga really does have the capacity to aid in a disaster or trauma. So letting the breath do the work here for you. Feeling free to just relax, avoiding working too hard. Give yourself this much needed little break. And bring the hands together right at the heart. Take a nice big breath in. Let it go. Still, those winds are still quite strong out there, so sending good vibes to anyone that might be affected by them. So we're going to come onto our mat, bring the feet as wide as the mat, doing your practice maybe for someone else, right? If you're not in great need here, sending all this energy towards somebody else that might be. Letting your knees drop from side to side, opening up the hips. And then eventually, when we get up and over to the right, we're gonna pause here and come and take a seat up. So lifting up, swivel around here, lifting up in this pinwheel shape with your legs. Lift up through the heart, take a breath in, and then on your exhale, twisting up and over to the left. Find that left thigh. You can even walk your left fingertips behind you. So tilt the chin ever so slightly down towards the chest and release the back of the neck for this one today. And then come up, take that left leg, shoot it out forward, finding Janu Shirsasana. Bottom of the foot comes in towards the inner thigh. Drag the left toes back towards the face. If you need to, you can always bring a bend into this knee, this left knee, taking a forward fold, so very grounding to come into any kind of fold where you're releasing the head down. But first, take a breath in, open up the heart, so peel the chest open. And then exhale, fold, release the weight of the head. You can stay here with the knee bent, or if it's accessible to you, lengthen the leg out just a little bit. Really let go of the weight of the head. And breathe here. And then on your inhale, come all the way back up. Walk your fingertips behind you. Turn the fingers back. Find the heels of your hands on the ground. Bend your elbows and drag them towards you so you're opening up the front of the chest. Should feel good in the shoulders. Opening up through the throat chakra where your voice is. So should feel good, especially in a sort of dire situation where your voice becomes very important. And we'll lean back here. You can stay right here if you're feeling this, or you can take it up a notch and maybe start to lift the hips up, rolling it open, feeling the stretch through the inner arms and the shoulders. Maybe even letting the head drop back just a little bit. Take one more breath in. Drag the left toes down towards the ground, pointing the toes, and then on your exhale, chin to chest, we'll come all the way back to center. Pick up those feet and send them up and over towards the right, finding this pinwheel shape in the legs again. Find a breath in to lift out of the ground. So you're using the ground, you're using the earth for your support. You're always supported. And we'll take ourselves up and over to the right, finding this twist. So good to release the belly. And just remember to breathe here. Letting anything that bubbles up to the surface, bubble up to the surface. And breathe through it. It's your body's way of letting go of some of the strong energy that might be surrounding you. Let the chin drop towards the chest here for the last couple moments. Letting go of the back of the neck and the jaw. And then inhale, come forward, take the right leg, shoot it out long, drag the toes back towards the face. Again, always finding that little bend in the knee if you need. Doesn't have to be perfect. These poses are just designed to help you. So finding your version of them, drag the toes towards the face, poof out the chest, so roll the shoulders back. Exposing the heart center, the heart chakra, and we'll come all the way forward. Releasing through the head and the neck. Stay here, maybe lengthen the leg out a little, finding your edge, and then softening. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Walk your hands behind you, fingertips point back, heels of the hands find the ground. Bend your elbows, lean back, hug the elbows in towards one another, and roll open through the chest, through the front of the throat. So pick up the front of your throat like you're lifting up and back, lengthening through the back of the neck as well. Stay here, or maybe go for the lift off, lifting up the hips, rolling open. Oop, my hip just popped. Take a nice big breath in, and then exhale, we'll come down. Nice job, guys. Take both knees, bend them, and come onto your hands and your knees. We'll find our flat back position, hands spread nice and wide, middle fingers pointing forward. Take a couple circles with the hips right away. Right, the hips and the jaw tend to feel these stressors the most in the body. And then a couple cat-cows here. Inhale, roll the heart forward. Exhale, drag the belly up and in. Exaggerate that curve in the spine. Inhale, rolling forward. Poofing out the chest. Exhale, drag the belly up and in. And then find your flat back again. Tuck those toes underneath if they're not already tucked. Scoop the belly in and lift the knees 1 inch off of the ground. So just a little bit of a challenging pose here to kind of create this inner heat in the body to flush the energy around. You can pedal the knees like I'm doing here, but just notice what the body's reaction is. Can you breathe? Right, when things get rough and tough, can you come back to the sound of your breath? Soften the jaw. One more deep breath in, and then exhale. Release, knees wide, big toes together, take it back. Child's pose, forehead comes all the way down on the mat. Take your elbows and walk them out wide to release the shoulders and let the heart quite literally lay down towards the ground, letting the ground catch the weight of the body. Exaggerate that breath into the low back and into the belly. And then on your inhale, come all the way back up. Hands come underneath the shoulders, and we'll take it right back up into downward facing dog. Give the knees a couple of petals here. Roll through the head and the neck. Take any movement that feels good. Stretching it out. And just for one breath, we're gonna drag the heels down and back. On your inhale, scoop the heart forward, pull into one plank pose here. Through the mouth, and take it up and back, downward facing dog. Pause here in downward dog. We'll stick out the tongue on the exhale. Inhale, really deep breath in. Stick out the tongue. Lion's breath. One more like that. Deep breath in. Stick out the tongue. Press into the hands. And let's go for a walk. Walk those feet up towards the backs of your wrists, towards the top of the mat. They land right underneath the hips. Bend the knees, almost so much that you're lying your belly on your thighs. So if this is just not an option and the hands don't touch the ground, you can always bring the elbows right onto the thighs and let the head drop down, hanging out here. So the point being to release the weight of the head and the neck, release the weight in the shoulders. So all the weight of the world that you might be used to carrying around lately, let that go. Knowing that you're doing the best you can. You're doing the best you can. In this practice, your breath will only refuel you to get back out there and do whatever you need to do after. But for right now, right, whatever efforts that you've put into recently, let them go. Right, knowing that you did the best you can. Hands are gonna release if they're back up onto your knees, and we're all gonna sink down into the knees just so we can find maybe the fingertips on the ground, or you can even find a block here. We'll send the right hand right towards the center in between the feet and bring your left hand, back of the hand, towards your low back. Bend that right knee, lengthen the left leg, and use the block or the ground to roll open that left shoulder. So if you don't have a block, you can always use a book, anything underneath that hand, even a chair, right? Take a breath in, twisting open towards the left. So stay here, or you can take your left hand up towards the sky. Take one more breath in. Exhale, we'll switch sides. Left hand comes down. Right back of your hand to your low back. Bend the left knee, lengthen the right leg, open up the right shoulder. Stay here, back of your neck, lengthening, or take your right hand all the way up towards the sky. Take one more breath in. And then exhale, release. Right hand comes all the way back forward. And walk your feet as wide as your mat. Or if you don't have a mat, walk your feet a couple of steps wide, and then turn your toes out. And we'll start to sink down here into the hips, rocking from side to side. You can use your hands to open up the hips, right? You can even keep the hips up higher if that's too much to come all the way down. You can even find a chair underneath the hands just to bend into one knee, lengthen into the other leg. Doing this at any level. Right, the hips very close to the digestive system, so when we do go into fight or flight, all that energy gets stored into the hips, really affects some of those signals that the belly sends back to the brain. So opening up these hips. And then landing in our malasana, our yogi squat. Couple of options, right? If heels don't come down to the ground, you can always grab something to set underneath the heels, like a blanket, a pillow, can keep the heels up. Or you can even come and sit up on a block or a book underneath the tailbone. Finding the elbows towards the inner knees, hands come towards the heart. Just a couple breaths here. So think about rolling open through that tortoise shell in the spine. Instead of curling up into a little ball, lengthen through the back of the neck, through the heart center. Sending that intention, sending those good vibes out with the breath. And pulling in some of that healing energy for yourself too, if it's needed. And take one more breath in. On your exhale, release. Walk the knees in front of you, and we'll make our way back to our hands and our knees. Walk those knees back, come all the way down onto the belly. Elbows come underneath the shoulders, moving right into a Sphinx pose. Find the tops of your feet and press them down into the mat as if you're dragging your elbows back, rolling the heart open. So take your chin and tilt it down so the back of the neck is nice and long. And then breathing into this stretch. Find some activity in the legs by pressing into the tops of the feet. And then if it's okay on the neck, on your next inhale, reach forward, exhale, looking off to the left shoulder. Stay here, maybe bend that left knee, flexing the foot down towards the ground, pressing out of the top of the right foot and the right elbow. Let go of the jaw. Inhale, come back to center, switch sides. Exhale, looking over to the right, bend that right knee. So press into both elbows here, press into the top of that left foot, twisting towards the right. Inhale, come back to center. Scoop the belly up and in. And we'll take it all the way up and back, landing in a puppy pose. So knees right underneath the hips, elbows come down towards the ground, forehead can come down towards the ground, sending the sits bones up and back, releasing through the low back and the belly. So this is a pose of great humility, as if you are bowing down towards the ground, right? Laying that heart, the weight of the heart onto the ground. Surrendering here, sending out any energy that might not be yours, that's not serving you. Finding the strength and the release to cultivate positive energy. So from puppy pose, we'll take it straight back to child's pose, knees wide, big toes together, and you can walk your elbows forward. Bring the hands together, bringing them back towards the back of the neck. Maybe walking the elbows forward a little more to get into the upper arms and the shoulders. Take a couple nice deep inhales here, nice deep exhales. And then on your inhale, we'll peel forward, come out of that, take the legs out in front of you, and we'll take ourselves all the way down to the back. As you come onto the back, set your feet on the ground. Bring the hands to the low belly. Deep inhale here. Through the mouth. Again, deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Pick up your right ankle, cross it over the left knee, finding a soft version of our hip opener, supine pigeon pose. Use your right hand to peel open the knee. Breathing into that right hip. And then exhale, switch sides, right foot comes down, left ankle crosses over the right knee. Use your fingertips, peel that knee back. Feeling the ground underneath you, feeling that support. The breath continually rinsing out the body. Washing up and over the body. And then we'll release that foot as well. Take your legs and your arms out nice and long, finding shavasana here on your back. Taking a couple really deep inhales, really deep exhales, letting the full weight of the body go. Letting any of that weight that you've been carrying go. So even when that wind is whirling around you, finding that center, finding your breath again, can really help make the difference in your ability to send positive energy back out. So finding some gratitude here, thanking yourself for doing everything that you possibly can. Let it go. Feel free to stay here for as long as you want. Or if you're ready, we'll start to roll off to one side and make our way up into a seat. Finding the hands together right at the heart. Take a nice big breath in here. Through the mouth, let it go. Letting that weight roll off your shoulders one last time. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you are in a disaster of your own or one of those natural disasters that is happening around the world, please know that you are surrounded by support. If you are here with me in Southern California, or you would like to help those people that have been affected by the fires, I will post a couple of links below. A couple being those that correspond directly back to the equestrian centers and all of the horses and families up on the ranches that have been affected. So if you can help out, please check out those links. Other than that, really take care of yourself. Breathe. Remember to pause. Find gratitude for everything that you have. Thank you so much for joining me on Sarah Yoga. Have a lovely rest of your day and hang in there. Namaste.